Good day. My name is Ravindra Nanga, and I'm the Chairman of the Water and Sewerage Authority. I thought that it was necessary to come and address the members of the public, given what the authority has been experiencing since Tuesday. On Tuesday morning at approximately 10 a.m., we suffered a rupture in one of our transmission lines at the Caroni Water Treatment Plant. That is a 48-inch main that feeds the northwest portions of the country, serving approximately 250,000 customers. On Tuesday morning, that pipeline ruptured, and the rupture was not the typical leak that sprung. In fact, what occurred is that the pipeline imploded. So I would like to make that clear. The pipeline did not rupture in that it did not spring the normal leak that persons are accustomed to seeing. This was a pipeline that was buried, and a section of that pipeline, which is situated immediately outside the water treatment plant, so that it is designed to take high pressures, it imploded. We are very concerned that the line imploded, and once we have completed the repairs to a satisfactory standard, we will be launching an investigation to determine what occurred and to take steps to ensure that it does not reoccur. Once we suffered that catastrophic failure, our crews immediately mobilized and began the repair process. Unlike what has been stated in the media and social media over the last 3 days, the crews immediately mobilized and was supervised by the Deputy Chairman of the authority. Since coming in, the Board of Commissioners of the authority has taken a very hands-on approach given the issues that we have faced at the authority. The Deputy Chairman has extensive experience in the water sector, and given the importance of what occurred, he personally oversaw the repairs. When we excavated, we were not prepared for what we saw. What we discovered is that the pipeline was a steel encased in concrete pipeline that was laid since 1979. That type of pipeline is no longer in use anywhere in the world. As such, we had to come up with ways in order to address the situation that we faced, which was to cut out the part of the line that imploded and replace it with a steel line. The steel line would have to be now fused with this concrete encased steel, which is not a simple process. Accordingly, the engineers devised a strategy in order to make the best fix possible in the shortest possible time. In order to do so, a section of the steel pipe was cut to be fit into the open section, and it would have been fused using various technology that would have been implemented to fuse steel onto concrete. As you can imagine, that is not a simple process, and as was expected, we encountered difficulties. However, notwithstanding the difficulties that we encountered, we were able to successfully repair the leak by Thursday morning. Once the leak was repaired, the concrete was poured and it was given sufficient time to cure. Given the nature of that seal that we had to work with and the pressures that were involved, unfortunately, another leak developed, but it was not as catastrophic as the first implosion. As we speak, the leak still exists. However, it is not that critical, so that we are able to now start servicing more and more customers. On Friday morning, after there was sufficient time for the concrete to cure, we slowly started to reintroduce water into the system. We flushed the system to minimize discoloration, and we advise customers that should you turn on your tap and get discoloration, to allow the water to run until it became clear. Friday, quite a number of communities that were without a supply began receiving a supply of water. With overnight passing, we are hopeful that more and more communities are coming on stream. As at lunchtime yesterday, a number of our booster stations were back up, the reservoirs were replenished, and water returned to a number of communities, as I indicated. During the course of the repairs, we encountered a number of problems given the complexity of the repairs. And unfortunately, that led to a number of misinformation and speculation that was going about, obviously fed by the need of the persons wanting water the need to understand what was happening. While the authority was concentrating on repairing the leak, the acting CEO and the Director of Operations addressed the nation as best as possible to give an indication of what was occurring. Unfortunately, that did not answer the question sufficiently. The video that has been circulating was taken at a preliminary stage when the pipe was being put in place to be fitted up so that we could have measured the size of the seal and the gasket that was needed to be constructed. While the video appears to show that the pipeline was 1 foot too short, that was not the case. It was simply the angle of the camera. By the time the pipeline was put in, it was of sufficient length so that the seals could have been properly put in and sealed. Of course, that is not an ideal situation, and while water is being restored to all communities that were adversely affected, we have devised a strategy where we are now going to bypass that concrete encased steel line with a full steel line. As we speak this morning, the crews have been mobilized and they are going to start excavation in order to run that new pipeline that will now be interconnected straight steel to steel, so that we will not run the risk of this reoccurring. Should there develop any other leaks, it would be a traditional type of leak that would be able to be addressed in quick order. We are hopeful, all things being equal, weather permitting, that once the trenches are excavated today, the laying of the pipeline would begin tomorrow. Yesterday, the pipelines to be run reached the Caroni Water Treatment Plant, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank our fellow authority, the National Gas Company, who has come on board from day one to assist in the repair and finding a solution to this problem. The National Gas Company has lent its support and its expertise so that when persons are criticizing WASA, WASA did not go with this alone, given the complexity of what we experienced and what we observed. We went outside and we enlisted the assistance of NGC, who also has extensive experience in pipeline technology. So that as we speak, the new pipeline, the trenches are being dug, the pipes will be laid tomorrow, and it will be interconnected at some point, we are hopeful, by Monday or Tuesday. Definitely within a week, as of yesterday, there would be a permanent fix to this problem, and there would no longer be persons affected by this issue. Once that pipeline is bypassed, we assure members of the public who has been impacted by this situation that the supply would be restored to 100% and properly. I want to assure the population that when there is need to do the changeover from the old system to the new pipeline, there will be minimal disruption because it will not be a very complicated process. Before the pipeline is installed and commissioned, of course, the usual tests would be done to ensure that it holds up to the pressures that would be experienced at that part of the system. I wish to apologize to members of the public who has been without a supply of water since Tuesday. However, to mitigate against that, we had increased our truck-borne supply. I appreciate and I accept that not everyone would have benefited from a truck-borne supply, but that was due to the number of persons that were impacted, and we tried our best to satisfy everyone. Unfortunately, we were not able to do so. With the water supply now returning, it will still be supplemented with a truck-borne supply. And given that more and more customers are coming online, our truck-borne supply should be able to make up the expected shortfall. Again, I wish to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize to the members of the public who are adversely affected by this prolonged outage of supply. But rest assured, we are committed to restoring the supply 100% so that you do not experience anything like this in the future. I thank you.